off topic because I've got this issue with. I love the look, feel, and prestige of owning an Apple product, but I hate paying for it. But it looks like something's going on where Apple is, well, I mean, technology is starting to stagnate, and it looks like Apple's ready to re-innovate again.
Well, not necessarily that. I think they are. I mean, they've been posturing as such, but not until the rollout of this Samsung Fold. So that is fucking awesome.
Wait, Samsung Fold? What the hell happened?
It's like a $2,000 phone starting, like 1998 or 99 or something.
Damn.
No, it's super expensive.
Does it have sex with me?
So it looks like a regular smartphone, but has one edge that's rounded and folds out so you have a tablet on one side.
Oh, fuck, yeah.
And I'm saying $2,000 start. I'm assuming rollout price can be $2,500, $3,000. But I'm genuinely thinking about this because I hate the smartphone where I can't keep multiple things at a time. That's really what I want is a computer in my hand and something like multiple monitors.
I remember when they brought out their tablet and it was just too bulky. So this will be like a way to have the phone and the tablet.
You have something small like the phone, but if you need to do multiple things, like I want to text you on the left side of this fold-out device, and on the right side I want to have maybe a web browser or something up. I can do that. I can also switch them back and forth. Dude, the capabilities of this thing are fucking awesome. It's also got like 12 cameras around the edges to give you super legit pictures.
Dude, that's great. That's like a bitch who takes it in all holes at once.
Dude, this phone is
and only for you.
But $2,000. I'm expecting $2,500, $3,000 once it actually makes the U.S. market.
You buy a tablet from Apple, it's really expensive anyway.
Oh yeah, no, they are about $1,200, $1,500.
And they only do one thing. So if this is doing two things, it's like buying a Mac Air for $3,000.
So my other concern here is you can't buy. How do you make a case for this? Like you might be able to make a wraparound thing, but it's not going to effectively protect the inside and all because just the way it's designed.
They'll find a way. I'm sure they will.
No, I mean, Chinese are super innovative. I'm sure they already have cases for it.
The Koreans are too. I mean, they're the ones making Samsung.
Indeed. You win.
Which is also manufactured in Vietnam.
Really? Wow, they just hate China, I guess.
Oh, everybody does. Vietnam is a little bit more expensive than China, but they're a lot easier to work with because they're stupid.
Well, all right. If that's the case, I'll take it.
I mean, Samsung just paid I think it was 2014 or 2015. They paid something like $2.2 billion to open a new factory in Vietnam.
Really? So could we get some manufacturing going in Vietnam?
Oh, absolutely. I'm
sure. I know you know some people over there.
I'd probably bang their daughter.
So they hate your fucking guts.
No, they love me. I'm family.
All right. As long as you're family, and they'll give us.
I gave them like 3 grandkids, but they hate me because the neighbor's also has 3 grandkids. No, I'm teasing. I've got some. I actually know some legit business people. I've never had sex with any other family members. I even know some people in Macau we can get working with. They would probably want to be down for manufacturing in Vietnam.
Okay, all right. Yeah, you've mentioned Macau. I'm afraid of doing anything in China because they're just
Macau's
notorious
not China yet.
Well,
not till 2050.
Yeah, you say whatever you want there. I mean, I don't care about who legally owns it. I care about who controls it.
Well, yeah, technically it's till 2050.
But, okay, who's actually controlling it though?
Portugal.
That's like Taiwan.
Portugal.
Are they really exercising control though?
Portugal.
You keep saying that, but I don't think you know how international politics. I know you know how international politics works.
Portugal.
I don't fucking believe it. Portugal doesn't have the dick strength.
Just like Hong Kong, they operate under English rule or English laws under contract. So the Chinese got to take it over, but they're obligated to keep it exactly the way the British did until 2050. And Portugal had the same thing with Macau. I mean, Macau's like the number one money laundering place in the world. The Chinese don't want to touch it because, well, basically they'd lose a lot. And there's a war brewing. I mean, there's a huge amount of alliance in this that if China fucks with it and screws up the contract before 2050, they literally have America, even Russia's in on this.
Really?
You got France, you got England, you got Portugal, you got Spain. I mean, it's like the whole NATO group is like, we're just going to let the U.S. put this nuclear bomb in your anus.
Wow, that's pretty. Wow.
I mean, the Chinese, they have control, but they're actually doing the right thing, and they've been exercising their power the way it was contracted. So they've actually held their end of the bargain so far.
Okay. All right.
You only got 31 years left. So I mean, take advantage of it.
No, I'm in favor. I'm highly in favor.
But I mean, just money in Vietnam. I mean, shit, Vietnam is like $1,000 an acre.
Dude, I mean, okay. So we can start a factory on 2,000 or
like $4,000.
Okay, so $4,000 to start a factory.
That includes like 1,000 employees
to buy the land to build the factory, and then
and hookers and chefs. I mean, it's gonna be great.
I don't want to move to Vietnam. It's too goddamn humid. And
Who the
all
hell
the
said
bugs.
move? Actually, it's pretty cold.
Well, you're talking about hookers.
Yeah, they're temporary.
I assume you wanted hookers.
Oh, I love hookers.
Yes, you do.
Shit, I'm a hooker. Jesus.
I got another few years before I'm ready to start expanding out. And, I got to let the kids grow up a little bit before I start moving to other countries and doing other things.
Who said moving? I mean, we just fly out there for a week or so and come back.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't done all that much international travel to those sort of third world countries. I'm really nervous about those places.
Well, I got to tell you, it's really a big thing to be nervous. It's kind of like your first divorce, but once you've had one, then you're like, wow, that wasn't so bad.
Who the fuck ever said a divorce wasn't so bad? They're a goddamn liar.
I mean, what happened to me? But I mean, I was so...
You got fucked over worse than me.
The stigma of a divorce is actually, for me, the stigma is actually worse than the actual divorce. I was so worried about getting divorced.
I don't know how you say that.
Me neither. I'm kind of stupid.
Well,
but,
okay, so I understand.
Going to Vietnam's not that bad. I've lived there.
Okay, all right. Well, we want to get on the divorce path.
Wait, let's get off the divorce path because I'm
not going to bring up anything.
Oh no,
good.
my brain, my butthole's hurting again. It's remembering the reaming I took. Oh my god,
son of a bitch.
But
get fucked. So that's like being fucked by a Debo in prison.
Oh jeez. Oh god.
That's like being fucked by a train of Debos.
Okay, look. That's just ow. Okay, they rolled it in sand, put it in there with no lube. Jesus Christ, man.
Fact.
So anyway, but you know what? We got really off track here. What's going on with this awesome Samsung, and why is Apple competing? Before I talk about hookers again.
All right, so I think the big thing there with Samsung is that they're really pushing Apple because Apple just keeps delivering all the same shit. Like, the iPhone, essentially 5 through X or whatever the hell they're on right now.
Well, X is the one they just basically just copied Samsung. Like, we're just going to make the same phone and sell it for double.
I mean, Samsung started copying Apple back in the day, too. There were several court cases that basically the judges couldn't figure it out.
Right. Well, Samsung's, like, still, they're pretty cool.
No. I mean, they both deliver quality hardware, and Samsung makes these screens for Apple. So it kind of goes back and forth in the theft there of who's stealing from who. But at the end of the day, they've just been making the same phones with different operating systems and slightly different features for over a decade now.
You can really do more on a Samsung Android phone anyway.
I'm a fan of Android just because I don't get stuck in all the Apple bullshit. Like, I used to have iPhones. I like it because it's compatible with everything. However, I can't get in my goddamn movies. If I don't have an iPhone, I'm fucked.
What I hate, that's one thing I hate about Apple is if they were open to letting you use other platforms other than just Apple. I like the iOS. I like the usability of an Apple, but I hate the fact that I can only use Apple shit on an Apple.
Right. I can't log in my goddamn account to watch movies on my Apple TV because I don't have an iPhone or an Apple computer.
But on Samsung, I could download and use the movies I have from Apple on it.
Right. Or Amazon or anything I want. I can go anywhere and do anything on Apple Android.
That's why I switched. It's like an Asian girl who only fucks Asians. Well, let a white guy inside, okay? That's why that's why I like them.
Yeah, so I just don't fuck with Apple at all anymore because of that. It's I hate being trapped. I don't like being controlled.
But so many companies with Apple are just like Microsoft. Like, you go to Yelp, you have to use an iPad.
God, it's such a pain in the dick. I think that's because that Calendly app that they use that's an iPhone based or
no, they only
app.
they only made like their reservation and everything. They programmed only for Apple. They didn't make an app for Android.
Right. No, I'm aware. They didn't make the app. They use an existing app. Calendly, I'm familiar with.
No, that's Calendly. They have their own app for the reservation. Like, we put it in our restaurant. They have their own app.
But I thought you said they use that Calendly.
No, that's for the sales rep who's talking to us. So
all right. Oh, okay,
for their
gotcha.
Calendly, yes, definitely. But for the app, they could have made one for an Android and for an Apple to let a business owner, but they force you to have they give you an iPad.
I think they probably get more control over iPad as well.
Oh, I hate that control. What is up with people in control? God damn it.
I'm sure they have some sort of valid business reason there that, I don't know, maybe they can shut off your account easier because you're using Apple over Android. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But, so tell me more.
So either way, so Apple's been delivering the same shit product with just minor changes. They'll take away your headphone jack, just shit like that for years now. So the benefit here is, I mean, this is revolutionary. It's the technology itself isn't, but the bendable screen is. We've been talking about bendable screens for maybe 2 years now.
A little longer than that. I've actually seen screens you could, like, in 2005 at the E3 convention, they had screens you could roll up or crunch up in your pocket and open it back up. I mean, this has been coming along. I am excited about this.
It is, but you couldn't get the same processing power in it.
Well, not yet. That's why it's exciting.
So it's actually rolled out to be usable within the last 2 years. It was just too fragile. It would break a lot. And that's really what's been holding it back. So now Samsung actually made something that is a lot more durable And that's the cool thing. So, I mean, a bendable screen, it's the durability there if you drop it on the ground is concerning. So that's why I kind of brought up the case. But this is really what's going to push Apple to make some cool designs and roll out the next generation of features. And I'm sure they're tracking each other. I mean, corporate espionage is a big business. There's no way they didn't already know about this. But that's going to set Apple back for probably the next 2 years, I'm going to say, just because that's a lot of technology to catch up on that you're ready to release to the public. And
well, there's a lot of catching. Innovation always requires some catching up to do. And so I think we're catching up to the point where we can use these awesome new tech.
No, absolutely. And when it's consumer ready is when shit gets really fucking cool. And just the appearance of this is what I think is the most cool aspect here. The fact that I can open it up and have a cell phone and a tablet, that's really what everybody wants. People hate their cell phones because, especially after you hit like 35, 40, your eyes, it's kind of tough to see on the dim. I sound like my dad talking to my kids now. Turn the light on. It's so dim in here. You know, your eyes, honest. I mean, I'm just a little over 30, and I'm already starting to notice the difference in my eyesight of I just can't see as well in the dark spaces.
Wait till you turn 36 or 37.
Wouldn't, I know. I mean, I hit 27, stuff started to like feel kind of hurty, and then I hit 31, and it's like, oh God, I can't walk today.
It's like you take a pee and you think you're done, and you put it in your pants, and 10 seconds later, it's like, God, I thought I just finished pissing. It's leaking down your leg a little bit. Drip. It's like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
So I see your perspective there, and I'm not looking forward to it, but this really opens it up a lot to the aging population who has been using smartphones like my dad. He's in his 50s for the last few years, but he just doesn't really like doing much on it because it's tough to see. So he'll look at emails, but you really got to expand that out a lot. So this makes it more possible for the aging population to keep using smartphones, and you can bring in some users, but essentially everyone who's using a smartphone now has been using it for the last 5-10 years. So we're expanding the population and the long-term usability. You can't expect someone in their 40s and 50s to be able to read something on a phone. I mean, I know a lot of people in their 50s and 60s, they used to use smartphones, and they just stopped because they can't read it anymore.
Well, you can want in one hand and shit in the other and see which gets full the fastest. So, I can expect them to read it, but I mean, it doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Right. So by making this a tablet, you really, I'd see this, that's where I see the biggest impact. I mean, there's the novelty of it, but novelties don't last. The actual usability and utilitarian nature that I think in, that's where I think you're going to see the biggest impact, because old people can now read. I can expand this out to full screen and actually read an email and respond to it.
Well, with 70 million millennials kind of hitting their 30s, it's about to be a thing that you really have to think about it, because the largest demographic is the millennials. I mean, the greatest generation is dying off.
Oh, dude, they're pretty much dead.
Yeah, they're gonna be around for another 15 years, but pretty much they're gonna be useless.
Yeah. Oh no, they're just
except
gonna
for
suck up
information.
money.
I can't wait for them to give me knowledge.
You say that, but generally we're not harnessing them well, and there's just
no, we're not.
We're finding a piss poor way of really integrating them. That's something I've wanted to do for a long time, is figure out a way to effectively integrate old people into
tech
groups. No, just groups in general. So I actually started
concentration groups.
Concentration camp. No, so when I was in Denver, I actually started a couple meetup groups, and I really focused on targeting the older people. Unfortunately, you can't get old people and young people in the same room because the generational gap. They don't talk about the same things.
For starters, calling them old people is really not going to help your goals.
Oh well, okay. So I develop a relationship with them before I call them old people, and then we just laugh about it.
Right, but basically, our more mature, wiser group.
Well, no, they certainly got knowledge, but also then how do you mitigate being trapped in conversation with them?
I really don't mind that because we have a lot of bullshit to talk about, but you don't. I mean,
you hit that 2 hour mark. It's like, all right, I got to fucking go somewhere. I know you're waiting on death to take you, but I've got shit to do.
Yeah, that's why. So leave talking to old people to me, and you know what's really funny? You gotta. Florida retirement homes have the highest rate of STDs than anywhere else on the planet.
That's incredible.
They're all a bunch of horny old people banging each other. And if one person's sick, everyone's sick. It's disgusting. Just to let you know.
Just think about it. You're in your 80s, 90s. You're just waiting on death to take you. Who gives a shit about STDs anymore?
I'm sorry. I don't care how old I am. I don't want the end of my dick looking like it's falling off.
I have zero experience with STDs, so I can't relate. But I'll take your word for it. I haven't even seen many pictures of STDs. So
you know what? I'm going to bring that up soon. So we're kind of pushing the deal on here. What is going on with ARK.io, man?
So I'm
Old people aren't going to get this one at all either.
no, not at all. So ARK is a really fucking awesome project, actually. And I've got a good friend who's on their